Hey guys, GhazzyTV here with another Path of Exile video, and in this one we're going to talk about the new specters available in the game. These are coming from the expansion content, such as the Eater Worlds or Searing Exarch. And as you can see here in this list, which will be linked in the descriptions below, you can see there's quite a few of these that have a Y here, which means that they are summonable as a specter. There's a couple of them that looks really cool. I haven't checked the Spriggans yet. I'm going to check them out. However, when it comes to the Searing Exarch and the Eater World Spectres, the only feasible option that I've seen has been the Consuming Thrall. And the Consuming Thrall is pretty interesting. They are having pretty neat mechanics. First off, they are attacking specters with 40 plus melee strike range, so they will do a projectile-based attack, which cannot be supported by multi-strike. And when they do, they will trigger 4 different projectiles that will shoot first on the left-hand tentacle, then the right-hand tentacle, then back to the left, and then to the right again. And that's how their sequence looks when every time they attack. These projectiles are very, very cool. As you can see here on this page, we are in a position where the projectile pierces all targets. They also have a hard lock of projectile override for 1. This means you cannot support them with LMP, GMP, greater volley. That doesn't work. They will only shoot 1 projectile each. So every attack will shoot 4 projectiles. Each projectile can hit the target, and they deal quite a lot of lightning damage. And this is an attack. So they can't be supported by multi-strike, but you can support them with faster attacks. And that's basically the go-to choice when it comes to these specters. The problem with the piercing all targets is that projectile behavior in Path of Exile goes from pierce into chain, into fork, and into returning projectiles. So if the projectiles always pierce, they will never be able to do any of the other behaviors. However, there is one way to bypass this, and that is through the use of a divergent chain, where the quality allows them to have an 80% chance to not pierce an enemy, and therefore they would chain instead. So the biggest problem with these specters that I've noticed has been... I'm going to show you a map also talk about this actually. The biggest problem we've seen is that they shoot their projectiles in a straight line, and whilst you're shooting in a straight line, basically anything that they catch in that straight line will pretty much die immediately. That's why we use a divergent chain for them, so that we can be in a position where the projectiles get some more of a wide spread of clear. Otherwise, you're just going to shoot straight lines of beams that kills everything in the beam. So any enemy that is next to these beams will not be killed and therefore run towards you. For the sake of information, this build is played in a medium budget state. We calculated the currency invested in this character to be somewhere below 35 exalteds, which is quite a lot of currency, but it is a medium budget. As you can see, these projectiles, they shoot in a straight line, and the only reason we're getting side targets killed is actually because of the divergent chain. Other than that, they off-screen very, very effectively, but clearing itself is very, very limited. So the only spectre you can really compare these guys to is actually the Slave Drivers, which has a slightly higher damage, less range, but they have an AoE-based flame... slash or lash, whatever you want to call it, which is dealing lightning damage. Flame Surge, I'm not actually sure what the name is of the ability, which actually would give you more of a safer clear with them. However, the single target seems to be okay at best. They can be used, but from my experience playing the clearing with this build, now I am playing an offensive version, so I don't really have that much defenses, and we're only level 86, lacking some life notes. So the problem is that there's a lack of clearing, where they're not killing everything on the sides of the target pack that's running towards you, which causes a problem when it comes to your survivability, obviously. For single target, I will drop the divergent chain and switch for a predator support, and the single target looks like this. And that's pretty okay for mapping. And in this video, we're going to show you the single target DPS versus the Eater of Worlds boss as well. But to continue the little rant of these specters, they're pretty cool. The way you get them is actually by doing Eater of Worlds content, where you pop these pillars that spawns randomly. See if I can get one in this map. They can spawn the Consuming Thralls. We have people in our global channel 6666 that is sharing them as well, so you can get them from there if you want to try them out. But my verdict on these specters is that they had the possibility or the potential to compete with Slave Drivers, But because of the projectile behavior not being able to be run with something like a GMP, their clearing is so lackluster that I don't think that they will be better than a slave driver. But the single target is very similar to the slave driver's setup, and they have a slightly better AI behavior in terms of actually being a Spectre monster compared to the slave drivers. So they have that going for them, which is nice, I guess. But sadly not enough. So I don't think that they will be able to compete. They do look pretty cool. They're definitely worth checking out. And here's the ritual, the totem I was talking about. If I click on this, as you can see here, we spawn some consuming bearers. Not sure if I saw any consuming thralls in that pack, but this is how you get them in Soul Self-Hunt, for example. Pretty straightforward. Chill minions to play with. They're cool. They're really cool. It's just lacking a little bit of potentials behind them. I think that if you really wanted to make a Spectre build work and you didn't like to use the slave drivers, I think these are one of the better options to run with. Other options would be something like a Primal Crush Claw is a really solid way to do this. Do keep in mind that when it comes to using these Spectres, you need to apply a chilling ground effect, not from the Skitterbots, but actually yourself, to make use of the unique gloves Algor Mortis, which makes enemies in your chilling area take increased lightning damage, which is a massive damage increase boost for these type of minions. And therefore we're using Cold Snap. As you can see, my defense is very lackluster at the moment. Outside of that, there is one little note I wanted to talk about, and that is that you can actually make this build with 4 Spectres instead of 5, and skipping something like this and utilizing Doriani's prototype. By using Doriani's prototype, you will have to ramp up your negative lightning resistance through the jewel, the flesh jewel. You can use Ventur's Gambles, Malachi's Artifice, and a variety of different strategies like Thread of Hopes as well to ramp down the lightning rest. If you get like 150 negative lightning rest, and make sure you switch in like Determination to cover yourself versus the fist damage, because lightning damage will go on your physical damage mitigation with that strategy. You can actually make these Spectres do an insane amount of damage. The only problem with that is that now you'll have to compare your damage output and your efficiency with a build to something like an Absolution build, which is insane for bossing, but similar to these Spectres, have a problem with clearing. But it should be about the same efficiency. The only difference is Absolution will require you to summon it or hit an enemy boss till you summon an Absolution. These Spectres will already be out there ready to hit the target. But the thing is, you can also compare that with a Doriani's prototype strategy using slave drivers, and suddenly you have your clear sorted and you have your single target. So I guess my verdict is that they're cool looking Spectres, but they're not good enough to compete with slave drivers. But their AI is significantly better. And that's all I have for you with this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the little showcase of these Spectres. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and let me know in the comments below what you guys think of them. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe and keep rocking.